Welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about fragrances coming from a hairstylist. Okay, so Hector from hectorsglobalhair.com reached out to me on Instagram and asked me if I could do a review on his fragrances. Now, I was interested in seeing how a hairstylist would think of fragrances. What would his vision be in this world of fragrances? So I said yes. He sent me 4 bottles, 50 ml each, and 3 samples. I'm going to talk about each one of these because I did give them a single wearing at least a full day, but not all of them because some of them are for females. But I'll also talk about those ones because I used Ioana, I sprayed on her, and from time to time I sniffed her, so I do know how the others smell. I also checked each one of these fragrances description on his website, but before checking that page, the website, I had a first impression on each individual fragrance. So I didn't know anything about them, what to expect. And to be honest, I didn't have high expectations because I was dealing with so many fragrances in the past, and I know that most of the time it's hard to release a new, original, and good smelling fragrance. So I was expecting fragrances to be clones again, like clones of Invictus, of Sauvage, and not of a really high quality. That's why the first impression was a good impression, especially with this one, which is also my favorite, Suave. Now the fragrance at start, it didn't get me thinking of any other popular fragrance because it is so strong, masculine, powerful, not suave at all in the opening. It is citrusy green with oak moss, very manly in the opening, like I said. When in the dry down, it's completely different. It changes so much, and it does become, in the dry down, it does become similar to, let's say, other fragrances. And it smoothens up. Amber starts to kick in, and you're also getting some spices. The fragrance it reminded me of was English Laundry Arrogant, which in my opinion is a combination of Tom Ford's Vetiver and somehow Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male. What I also found with this and the other fragrances was that Hector didn't cheap out on the concentration. The fragrances are really strong, not only projection, but also the longevity. Now, what else do I like talking when it comes to fragrances? Of course, smell, performance, and the presentation. I do like the presentation because it's something new. This design, slim, but really good grip when you hold it in the hand. What I don't know for sure, I'm not sure about this thing though, the cap and this part right here, which is plastic, because I have experienced some issues with some bottles in the past where the cap sticked so hard onto this plastic that when you pulled off the cap, at some point you would pull it off along with the plastic. So I'm not sure if this plastic will survive in time, but as the rest of the presentation goes, I'm happy with it. And as far as I read and saw, the design of the bottle has 3 types. This one, the black one with this design, also the same design but clear bottle, and also this one, the cube. So what I've shown you here by presenting to you Suave was my favorite of this bunch. I really enjoy this one. I'm actually wearing it right now. Moving on is a fragrance for the ladies called Epiphany. Same design, same looks, but the smell is, of course, a female fragrance smell. But on the website, it says that the fragrances are unisex. Now, some are, but some aren't. Some are very obvious on which side do they fall. This one is clearly a fragrance for the ladies, but one which I really enjoy because it is floral, spicy, oriental with vanilla on the base. But the vanilla can be picked up right from the opening, but in small doses. Of course, good performance. This is Ioana's favorite as well, and mine also. Now, is this similar to a more popular fragrance? Yes, it is inspired of Jean Paul Gaultier, the classic for women. Moving on, we have a fragrance which I saw that is like the most marketed one on his website. It's called Foire. I think that's how it is pronounced. And this one, when I first smelled it, I got this niche-like vibe. And yes, it does have a niche-like quality because it is very similar to Tom Ford's Oud Wood. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of that smell, and there's nothing wrong with this fragrance, but it's not my favorite just because it smelled like that one. And this is one of those fragrances that I'm saying could be considered unisex. Basically, you're getting a spicy aromatic combination of woods with oud, and oud is indeed a very unisex note. I found it in so many unisex fragrances. Moving on, there's a fragrance which in the beginning when I sprayed it, I enjoyed it really much and I thought it was for men, but then again, after giving it a couple of more wearings, it inclined more towards the female side. But I do think me and Ioana are going to share this one because I find it quite unisex, even though it is indeed supposed to be a fragrance inspired or inclined towards the female side. It's called Denude, and this is inspired of Lancome's Miracle. I really enjoy wearing it myself because it is a fresh, watery, floral and soapy fragrance. It starts off with a watery lychee, a bit of citrus, then it has jasmine, which is one of my favorite notes, and this pretty much sums up why I really enjoy wearing this fragrance. Also on the dry down, it becomes soapy, and I do like soapy fragrances. And again, of course, I was impressed by the performance considering the type of this fragrance, fresh, soapy. Now from the samples, I got one that is called actually The One. This is for males. At first, right after I sprayed it, I instantly thought about a more popular fragrance, one from the house of Tom Ford. And The One by Hector is smelling very similar to Tom Ford's Black Orchid. I mean, really similar, with a very good performance, and there's nothing more to say about The One. Simply, if you like Tom Ford's Black Orchid, you will like this one. The next two samples are two for the ladies. One is called She Is, which is pretty obvious that is for females, and the one is called Diamonds. Now let me spray these two on, because one is fresh floral and the other one is fresh fruity. Okay, so Diamonds is the fresh floral one. It is pretty safe, pretty generic smelling, like a bunch of flowers, white flowers with citruses. And Diamonds is inspired of a very popular fragrance, J'adore by Dior. If you like that one, this one you'll also like. The other one, She Is, I like it better because it's a fresh, fruity fragrance with peach. You can actually detect the peach, and I do like peaches. Now this is a fragrance that also reminded me of lots of more popular fragrances, but one that I was able to put close to this one, really close, was Burberry Brit Sheer. Now these were the fragrances. Of course, my favorites, Suave, Epiphany, and Denude. All the fragrances perform great. And do I recommend them? Do I actually recommend them? Yes, they are one of the good fragrances inspired of, and they are not just inspired of, they have a thing on their own, and I'm really happy with them. Also, I really like the bottle design. So these were the fragrances from Hector Global Hair. Until the next video, just keep smelling great.